Welcome to Living Legends, the channel where history's greatest minds come alive to share their own stories. Today, we have a very special guest, a man whose name is synonymous with genius, and whose hair might just defy the laws of physics. That's right, it's the one and only Albert Einstein. But before we dive into his groundbreaking theories, Albert, do you ever wonder where all those missing socks went? Are they lost somewhere in the space-time continuum?
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here. As for the socks, they're probably off on their own adventure through space and time. But let's not get sidetracked by my laundry. I want to talk about how a simple compass led me to question the very fabric of reality. My journey into science began when I was a child. My father gave me a small compass. Watching the needle always point north, no matter where I moved, made me realize there were invisible forces at work. That tiny compass sparked a curiosity in me that has never faded. You see, while most kids my age were playing with toys, I was asking, why does the needle move? My parents probably thought, great, we've got a philosopher in the making. But all I wanted was to understand the tiny force guiding the needle. That compass was my first love, much to the dismay of my parents who hoped I'd outgrow my obsession with magnets. In school, I was often lost in thought, much to the frustration of my teachers. They wanted me to focus on their lessons, but I was busy imagining light beams racing through space. I wasn't a bad student. I was just differently focused. My daydreams paved the way for the theory of relativity. There was this one time my teacher caught me doodling light beams instead of taking notes. She asked, "Albert, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to imagine what it would be like to ride alongside a beam of light." She paused, then said, "Well, make sure you're back before the bell rings." They didn't quite understand my passion for physics, but they certainly appreciated my creative excuses. I was always experimenting, even when I wasn't supposed to. One day, I decided to test how electricity could pass through objects. I accidentally caused a short circuit in the house and plunged us into darkness. My mother wasn't too pleased, but I was thrilled. I had just learned about circuits and electricity firsthand, though I also learned that some experiments are best left outside the home. When I wasn't daydreaming in school, I was discussing ideas with my friends. One of my closest friends, Michel Besso, and I would walk for hours talking about time and space. He would listen to my crazy ideas and say, "Albert, you're either going to be very famous or very unemployed." I guess I managed a bit of both. Michel was the perfect sounding board. He didn't always understand my ideas, but he knew how to ask the right questions. And in those conversations, my theories began to take shape. So if you want to understand the universe, find yourself a good friend who doesn't mind walking and talking for hours. After school, I worked at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. Many saw it as a dead-end job, but it was the perfect place for me to think. I had time to ponder the big questions about light, time, and space without the pressures of academia. My colleagues saw a quiet clerk, but in my mind, I was building a new understanding of the universe. I would sit there reviewing patents for new inventions, secretly scribbling my equations in the margins. If my boss knew half of what I was up to, he'd have fired me for turning physics into my full-time job and patent reviewing into my hobby. 1905 was my miracle year, my annus mirabilis. In just 1 year, I published 4 papers that would change physics forever. One of them introduced the equation E equals mc2, showing that energy and mass are 2 sides of the same coin. It was as if a veil had been lifted from the universe, revealing a simple yet profound truth. That year, I was juggling my patent clerk duties, my new fatherhood responsibilities, and developing my theories. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you're too busy to notice how much you're doing. My colleagues had no idea they were sharing office space with a theoretical physicist who was changing the world between lunch breaks. My life has been driven by curiosity. I've always believed that questions are more important than answers. To ask why the sky is blue, why gravity pulls us down, or why socks go missing, that's the essence of being a scientist. I hope that in sharing my story, I inspire others to keep asking questions and never stop exploring the wonders of the universe. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. And as for my socks, well, some mysteries are best left unsolved.
What a journey, Albert. Thank you for sharing your incredible story. And to our viewers, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have many more legends to bring to life. Who will be our next surprise guest? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.